残酷な天使のように少年よ神話になれ青い風が今胸のドアを叩いても私だけをただ見つめて微笑んでるあなたそっと触れるもの求めることに夢中で運命さえまだ知らない痛いけな瞳だけどいつか気づくでしょうその背中には未来目指すための羽があること残酷な天使の手で窓辺からやがて飛び立つほとばしる熱いパトスで思い出を裏切るならこの空を抱いて輝く少年よ神話にな
As I've gotten older, I've noticed that you have less and less time to do the things you want to do, which for me means I can't just sweat a game for 7 hours like a filthy chud. So instead, I've compiled a list of short but sweet Halo mods for you to try out, when you've got 30 minutes of free time, before you have to go back to filling out job applications.
Stand ready for my arrival, worm.
So you can afford that Discord Nitro you give to all your e-kittens. Despicable, really. Halo Mod Review. Halo Mod Review. Now you see, our first mod's creator and I go way back. I made a video on their mod, Operation Mercury Rising, maybe you've seen it.
I'm gonna be butt-ass naked so the wind can just be hitting my balls and shit. Hey bro, watch your jet. Watch your jet, bro. Watch your jet!
Holy fuck.
And they left a comment on it. So basically that means we're best friends, really. You just gotta trust me.
Holy shit. Look at that. It's a dipshit Carmine again.
So, here's my non-biased coverage. Tiny Halo is a silly parody of the Halo experience. I often question myself on what makes the quintessential Halo experience. Now I thought it was the level design, beautiful sci-fi setting, and interesting enemies, but no, I was completely wrong. You just need a ring of some size, a spaceship crashing, some humans to friendly fire, aliens to teabag, and of course, the Mr. Halo himself. You'll notice this level has intricate level design, featuring never-seen-before gravitational simulation technology that allows the player to travel the entire ring. You'll find yourself evolving your combat with inverted controls as you dangle upside down. Just don't jump. Mr. Halo isn't built for jumping in this mod. Okay, I went, whoa! Or throwing grenades, really. So you can basically just throw the grenades in a straight line, is what I'm getting from this. Gravity doesn't apply to grenades. The dialogue in this mod is frankly sensational. What the fuck? Okay, I'm not exactly sure this is working. I wouldn't consider myself an emotional man thing, but there were times during this that I had to sit there with the game paused just to unpack the emotions. What if Halo was a little chode?
Cortana, all I need is Halo.
Don't worry, I have Halo.
I began as but a feeble brainlet thinking he knows the answers to life, but after this, my eyes have opened, and wallet gaping as I throw money hoping for a sequel. I can already see it now. Tiny Delta Halo. Waking up in a small valley filled with greenery, serenity, and an air of mystery, our objective is simple. Figure out why we are here, and what makes this forest so arcane. Arcane Forest is a short but well-crafted mission using a setting and environment you just wouldn't normally see in Halo. Sleek, mysterious foreigner structures have been replaced with rustic medieval castles, vibrant bright shrubbery replaced with darker fantasy forestry. It's easy to become immersed in the atmosphere as you lay siege to a Covenant-manned fortress, explore lost caverns, and cross what is definitely a drawbridge and nothing else. The Blue Drawbridge. Old about legend, actually. They say that this drawbridge has been there for many millennia. Fueled by the primordial rage of the ancient dragons too. Arcane Forest presents a level you can freely explore. It doesn't outright tell you where you need to go, but guides you using environmental details and, well, these fuck-off boulders that block your path. It's really fascinating how what is quite a small map in its totality has been stretched out into a longer experience that, whilst definitely linear, keeps itself fresh by having you retread your steps to take new open paths that were teased along your original route. Opening more of the map over time make for a refreshing sense of progression. My only critique is that sometimes it isn't clear where you're meant to go. I pressed a button in the main chamber of the first castle and heard a noise, but I had no idea what it had done and had to just walk about until I noticed that the castle gate had opened. These magical holographic devices to open the door, I think. Oh, something has happened. Is the door going to open? Apparently not. Dare I say, I don't know where I'm going. No, the door is still closed. Where am I meant to go? I think there's ways to navigate this, such as spawning new enemies that enter from the doorway we're meant to go through. Having enemies appear suggests that that's our means to continue the mission. But, to be fair, the mod's description does say you're meant to explore with no hints, so maybe I just couldn't handle the power of the Arcane Forest. I feel like enemy placement seems easy to get right on paper, but in reality it's difficult to make impactful. So I don't mind if I do. I think the Wraith just got completely mind melted as it got rear-ended. Arcane Forest's enemy placements are the Goldilocks, just right porridge of enemy placements. Snipers and grunts take up high ground on the castle's defensive towers and architecture. Some sections are quite challenging, like the enemy castle's interior. The enemies aren't out in the open or just in the center, they are scattered about using the castle's interior decoration against you. Then, when you defend against a siege later on in the mission, enemies come charging. They don't just spawn and dive for cover, which I enjoyed, even if they came running into my newly acquired Wraith. I think what fascinates me the most about this mod is how it invokes nostalgia within me, despite actually not being from my past. Back in day, there were so many custom maps on halomaps.org, which had been passionately cobbled together, which sounds like a bad thing, but I assure you it's not. Arcane Forest looks and feels like a Halo custom edition map. It captures that sense of creativity and ingenuity people had when limited by the hardware capabilities of the early and mid-2000s. The uncanny difference in the ported Halo weapons and textures from newer Halo games into the CE engine, the mishmash of terrain, environments, and graphics that don't exactly fit in Halo, and a vision the creator had, which they brought to fruition however they could. Arcane Forest isn't a port of a Halo Custom Edition map. It was created back in 2023. I'm not the only person to feel this way. In fact, it was a comment left on the mod's Steam page that made me realize where the nostalgia was coming from. So thank you for your contribution, random commenter. Glazing Altis today, aren't I? Look, normally I wouldn't include two mods from the same creator, but I feel like you can find it in your heart to forgive me, because I've actually sent a flood infection form to your house as we speak. Floodslayer puts you in the shoes, well, tendrils, of the famous flood infection form Skibadiah at the outbreak of flood on Installation 04. Your objective is simple: spread Ligma to anyone in sight and create a horde of minions that'll absorb bullets so you don't have to. All you have other than carrying the Black Death is some sharp blobs that'll distract enemies, so make sure to infect everything in sight. It's really cool seeing the new combat forms of each enemy, Pre-existing forms like the humans and elites have been given new gory graphics, like bones sticking out, whilst grunts and jackals have new combat forms. Grunts become suicide bombers and jackals become something out of an analog horror, quadruped crawlers. By the end of your journey, you'll have an army of friendly floody buddies who you're taking to have a slumber party with at Alpha Base. I also really like how the movement in this mod has been incorporated with you being able to cling to the walls and sometimes the ceilings, and you actually have to travel up the lifts because they've been broken, which I thought was really creative and adds just a bit more of the flood infection form experience. Honestly, you'll have a blast with this one, even though it'll only take you like 15 minutes, but that's the point of the video. When I first stepped foot into Halo Gaiden, I had no idea what was coming. I only looked at like the first image on the mod's workshop page and decided to give it a go, and I'm glad I did it this way. Halo Gaiden feels like what a Japanese game studio would make if asked to make a Halo entry. It's intense, over the top, and also lets you wield a cool light energy sword thing. I'm actually not going to spoil too much of Halo Gaiden. I'm going to give you what I think makes it worth playing. In such a short package and peak of what is in development, the level design is solid. Crawling through sewers feels a little boring, but the way you're reinforced by allies as you push through blockade after blockade feels really diegetic, and keeps it feeling exciting. The latter half of the mission is bathed in the perfect amount of mystery and creep factor. Yeah, wasn't expecting that, were you? Weapons feel authentic, especially the plasma assault rifle. Reminds me of the Arasaka energy weapons from Cyberpunk 2077. They kind of feel like what you'd find in an old beta version of Halo Combat Evolved, similar to what the Dig Site mod team unearthed and restored. Enemies are quite unique. Forcing you to switch weapon type, as you'll find your trusty firearms aren't so hot in the mission's second half. It's mods like Halo Gaiden that remind you how much passion is still in the Halo community, even after all these years and setback after setback. Not to say other mods don't do the same, Halo Gaiden takes the Halo engine and uses it for something entirely different, and I think there's something so special about that. Kinda like the next mod we're going to talk about. This one is an odd one, even by my standards, but if we can have big booby jiggle physics elite mods, we can also have Shadow the Hedgehog, okay? You ever play the comically edgy Shadow the Hedgehog game that released in 2005? This mod attempted to recapture that in the Halo engine, which is incredibly ambitious, but I think based on what I've seen so far, is definitely possible with time. Right now, this mod gives us a very brief glimpse into what could be. You play as Shadow the Hedgehog in a third-person perspective. You have access to a couple of guns, but the more fun weapon is your feet. Don't get the wrong idea. Your primary weapon is Shadow's booster shoes, which you can use to gain speed and ram into enemies, setting them ablaze. Even without using the booster shoes, gunplay is more about strafing and dodging than accuracy, which makes for a unique experience. The level is quite short, and I'm not actually sure if it has an end trigger. I explored for quite a while, even replaying the level multiple times, but I didn't find anything. Level design is very basic at the mod's current stage, but as it's a heavy work in progress, that's understandable. The mod creator has done a wonderful job in recreating the linear, fast-paced tracks and obstacles you'd expect to see in a Sonic game. My only criticism is that the current movement system is very clunky, which can make it a bit difficult to navigate the platforming elements, which is a shame, but understandable. You're trying to recreate a Sonic game in the Halo engine, it isn't going to be a smooth translation. I think with time, this has the opportunity to be something real special. Go be an edgelord and check it out. Support for mods like this is what's going to bring them into fruition, and I'd love to see a full or even like a free mission campaign about this, even if it's just a recreation of some of the things in the Shadow the Hedgehog game from 2005. Honestly, it's mods like these, and I know I touched on this in the last segment, that make you realize how would you say it, how multi-faceted the Halo community is, and how other passion, like passion for other games comes into the Halo community and is manifested in mods like these. It's really something to think about. I went off script for this bit, as you can probably tell, but thinking about it, I just love that. Halo brings us all together. That was a look at some bite-sized mods for you to sink your teeth into. Crazy to think we're not that far from Halo Campaign Evolved now, and then there's the potential leaks of Halo 2 and 3 remakes in the works. It really does seem like they're trying to reboot the franchise, because let's be real, what are they doing with current Halo? For now, we'll have to get our kicks from these incredible Halo mods. I've been that Halo mod twink, and we'll see you on the next episode of whatever the fuck this is.